Welcome to the February 13th edition of the Mustangs TV Recap. I'm your host, Heather Smart. This week we've got highlights from hockey, basketball, swimming, and wrestling. Let's check them out.
The Western women's basketball team hit the road Wednesday against the McMaster Marauders. Jenny Vaughn led Western offensively, tallying a game-high 23 points on 7 of 18 shooting, in addition to 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and a pair of steals. Annabelle Hancock made 4 three-pointers en route to 12 points off the bench for the Mustangs. The final score was 77-63 for McMaster. The Mustangs' losing streak would end there as they traveled to Waterloo Saturday. Laura Daly would keep the Mustangs on top, finishing with a game-high 21 points. Jenny Vaughn went 5 for 17 from the field and finished with 17 points on the night. Caitlin Letty had 15 points and a team-high 8 rebounds and 3 blocks. Kate Kunsky was the only Warrior to finish in double digits, scoring 11 points to go along with a game-high 15 rebounds and 4 steals. The final score was 75-64 for the Mustangs. The Mustangs return home this Wednesday, February 15th, for another big game against the McMaster Marauders. Both teams are 10-10 on the season.
The Western Mustangs swimming team regained top OUA standings at the final day of races at the OUA Championships at Laurentian University this weekend. The women's team won with a whopping 954 points, defeating the University of Toronto in second with 713.5 points. The men clinched the bronze spot with 638 points behind the University of Toronto, followed by McMaster University. The day started with the women's 200-meter medley relay, where Mustangs Jennifer Trung, Shannon Nell, Katie Bell, and Ashley Dunnington won the event with a time of a minute 56.21. In the men's event, Armstrong and Nicholas had 2 podium standings in 50-meter breaststroke and both improved their preliminary round times. Next, the Mustangs prepare for their final championship of the year, the CIS Championship that is taking place on February 24th to the 26th. Western Mustangs men's wrestling team won their first OUA wrestling title since 1994 at McMaster this weekend. Second-year Mustang Ilya Abelev won the Keegan Trophy and the Men's Outstanding Wrestler Award, while coach Ray Takahashi was voted Men's Coach of the Year. Teammate Brianne Barry won the Outstanding Female Award, leading the women's team to an overall third-place team finish. Western clinched the men's title with a combined 73 points, only 5 points ahead of silver medalist McMaster. The Brock women won their 12th title in the program history, finishing with a combined score of 68 points. Lakehead and Western fought it out for silver, with the Thunderwolves edging the Mustangs by a lone point, 51-50. The CIS Championship will be hosted at the Lakehead Thunderdome in 2 weeks. And now over to Mustangs TV reporter Christine Clark for highlights of this week's basketball and hockey.
The men's basketball team traveled to face the McMaster Marauders this past Wednesday. The story of the night was Marauder Cam Mykett with a 23-point performance on the night. 16 of Mykett's 23 points came in the second and third quarters, as Marauders turned a 5-point lead into an 18-point advantage. Ryan Barbeau and Peter Schultz both finished with 20 points for the Mustangs. Barbeau finished with a game-high of 6 assists. Greg Morrow had 10 points and 6 rebounds off the bench for Western. The final score was 77-63 for McMaster. The men's losing streak stopped there as they traveled to Waterloo Saturday. Ryan Barbeau exploded for 46 points and scored 11 in overtime to lead the Mustangs to an exciting 105-102 overtime win. The fifth-year senior went 4 for 30 on the floor, including 8 for 16 from three-point range for a banner day. With the win, the Western men improved to an 8-12 record on the season. The Warriors, meanwhile, fell to 5-15. Cam McIntyre was the top scorer for Waterloo with 33 points. The guard went 9 for 18 overall and 6 for 11 from beyond the arc. Zach Angelini had 28 points on 10 out of 13 shooting, including 5 of 7 from three-point range. The Mustangs return home this Wednesday, February 15th, for an 8 p.m. game against the visiting McMaster Marauders at Alumni Hall. The Western women's hockey team hosted the Windsor Lancers Friday night at Thompson Arena. The ladies went to the game fighting for a playoff spot. Going into the first, Lindsay Domsky would get on the board first, snagging the rebound off a Lancer goaltender, Carly Robinson. The Lancers would answer only seconds later with Candace Chevalier deking around Kelly Campbell. On to the second, the score would remain tied at 1-1 until Emily Canham took advantage of a wide-open net with assists from Rellinger and Nessa Sewick. Score now 2-1 for the Mustangs going into the third period. Kendra Deller would get the game-winning goal for the Mustangs with a slap shot from the point. Windsor wouldn't stop there as Jane Gaffney found the rebound off Campbell to get the back of the net. Western would continue to put pressure on the Lancers, with Nastasiuk nearly getting past Robinson on the breakaway. However, it would be senior Lindsey Godomsky who would end it for the Mustangs with a highlight reel goal off the backhand. The final score was 4-2 for the Mustangs.
Tonight, what has your experience as a Mustang meant to you?
It's meant a lot. Seniors night's always emotional for the senior players, but we have playoffs to look forward to now, so not shedding too many tears.
Exactly. You solidified a playoff spot tonight. It was a rough road to get here. What are your plans to maintain momentum going into playoffs?
We just got to focus on one game at a time, one period at a time. We sometimes have a slow start coming out in the first, but we're going to fix that going to playoffs, so I'm not too concerned about it.
The Mustang men's hockey team went head-to-head with the York Lions for their last regular season game Saturday night. Josh Eunice would start off for the Mustangs, holding second place in the OUA. Andrew Perugini took the net for the Lions, only 2 spots below Eunice, fourth in the OUA. The first period started out strong for the Mustangs as CIS top goal scorer Keaton Turkowitz snagged the rebound off Perugini, making the score 1-0. The Lions got back on their feet in the second period as Jesse Messier would get on the board first when a puck dump in the offensive end took an unexpected bounce sneaking past Eunice. The score remained 1-1 going into the third. Only 3 minutes into the period, a slashing penalty for Mustang Matt Paltridge would give Lion Troy Bars a chance to find the back of the net. York held Western scoreless for the remainder of the period, despite being outshot 31-19. Late in the third, though, it looked like the Mustangs would tie it up as Turkowitz railed a shot off the crossbar, but Perugini would stay strong for the Lions with a final score of 2-1. This is the Mustangs' first loss at home for the season.
Tonight was seniors night. You're first in the CIS with points. How exciting has your last season with the Mustangs been?
Oh, it's been amazing. I mean, we've had an exceptional year. I feel like the rookies that we brought in and the veteran guys, we all contributed to this. I feel like other than this weekend, we've played well all season long, and going into playoffs, it's nice to already have clinched first, but I think we got a lot of hard work to do before we start.
Yeah, and tonight's been bittersweet. You've just been ranked first in the country, but you experienced your first loss at home. How do both of those factors affect your mentality going into the playoffs?
I think we got to take the positive and negatives from it. I mean, we're a good team, obviously, when we play our game, and when we don't, I mean, anyone can beat us. We lost to UOIT last night and to York today, 2 teams that we've beat all year, so I think it just makes us a little bit humble and maybe hungry going into playoffs.
Western plays host to the Laurier Golden Hawks on Thursday, February 16th for Game 1 of the OUA West quarterfinals. The women would travel to York for their final game of the weekend and the season. Samantha Nastasiuk would start the first period off with a bang for the Mustangs, getting past York goaltender Sydney McMurder. York would be unable to get past Olivia Ross in the first. On to the second, Western continued to dominate the play as Carly Rolfe would find the back of the net with assists from Godomsky and Filson. Going into the third period, the Mustang ladies were able to keep control of the game. Katie Dillon would put the score up to 3-0 for the Mustangs. York finally found the back of the net 6 minutes into the third on the power play as Andrea Joyce snuck past Ross. Stacey Scott finished the game off, putting the final score to 4-1 for the Mustangs. The ladies don't hit the ice again until playoff quarterfinals next weekend.
Up this week's Mustangs TV recap, be sure to tune in on February 16th, this Thursday, to watch the men's hockey team take on the Laurier Golden Hawks in open round playoff action. And next Friday, the Final Four volleyball begins at 5 p.m. That's Friday, February 24th. Tune in to ssncanada.ca. I'm your host, Heather Smart. See you next week.